Brews and Views, a podcast where we review movies, give our opinion on what's going on in the world, all while drinking good beer. Crack open a good brew and open your minds for Brews and Views.
Say hey, everybody out there in the internet land. This is Juan Cordero, the Juan and only, coming at you with another podcast for December 25th, 2020. How is everyone's Christmas today? Yesterday, or whenever you're listening to this podcast, I spent Christmas by myself. So lonely. I'm so lonely. Yeah, I spent it all by myself. And it was actually a good freaking Christmas because I didn't have to get dressed, go anywhere, be around a bunch of people, and I'm not saying that I don't love my family. I do. Some of them, like me more than other people of the family. But it was good. I watched some movies. I watched Wonder Woman 1984 that just came out today. And I had to get HBO Max because, this is Brews and Views, man. I drink beer and I watch movies and TV shows, and I tell you guys about them, So I had to watch Wonder Woman 1984 because the first one by Patty Jenkins was absolutely awesome. It was like a breath of fresh air. That's like, oh, fucking DC is going down the right avenue here with this being one of their best fucking movies that they've had so far. So I definitely had to see how the sequel was going to hold up to the first one. But as in everything, the first one's always going to be the best because you don't know what to expect, and then when you get it, you see it on screen, you see your favorite character on screen, whoever it might be. In this case, it's Wonder Woman. And the first one was amazing. I loved the story. I loved how it was basically a love story, I mean, it is a love story. But let me just read you my review word for word here that I have on Instagram and on my personal page on Facebook. Wonder Woman 1984. Pretty cheesy start, and I think it was on purpose, but I really don't know. However, at the end of the second act is where this movie starts to pick up speed, and the storytelling for me starts here. The third act shows how strong and vulnerable Wonder Woman is. The real antagonist is not who you think it is, but they wanted a girl fight, so that's where Kristen Wiig comes in. Sort of a waste of a character, if you ask me. Also, some things at the end of the movie on how they unfold really didn't make any sense, but they had to move the story forward, so it is what it is. Overall, it was a great, fun film with a message. Keep watching when the credits roll to get a cool end scene. But what do I know? I'm just a guy that loves watching movies. But just like everything in it was good. And like I said at the beginning, it was a little cheesy, and I really do think that it was done on purpose, maybe to kind of make fun of how 80s movies were done, or just that genre of that time period of the 80s and how things were done. It was, I don't know, there was this I'm not going to give any spoilers on here. No, fuck that. Guess what? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to get into this movie, okay? So if you don't want to hear, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it just yet. Because I want you guys to go watch the movie. It is good. Overall, it's a good, fun movie with a message, like I said at the end. But there are some moments that particularly were just like, what? And why was this character in there for? And who is this? Why even? And I get it, because like I said, they wanted to have a girl fight. So, okay, we got to bring in this character, but then it was a waste of a character. It's like, is there going to be another? Is there going to be another one? Of this character again, or what? I don't know. Why is my voice going so high? Anyway, so yeah, I watched that, and then when I'm done listening, oh my gosh, I can't even fucking talk right now. You guys are like, oh, fucking turn this podcast off. No, when I'm done with this podcast, I'm about to go watch Soul. And I should have watched that before I started this podcast, but maybe we get a two-parter. You know, we talk about Soul here tomorrow, and maybe I'll bust out another podcast for you guys. But who knows? I'm going to be watching a lot of shit this weekend because obviously today is Friday and I'm off of work, and Saturday is not my regular working day, and I'm not going to be working on Saturday or Sunday, and I go back to work on Monday. I can't fucking talk. I have like so many things that I want to talk about, and I'm trying to like think about it and like, you know, talk at the same time. And, you know, I'm a man. I can't multitask. That's what people say. But anyway, go see the movie. It's fucking fantastic. You can get it on HBO Max or it's in the theaters right now, but I think a lot of people are going to elect to watch it on HBO Max instead of going to the theaters just because of everything that's going on right now. It's so funny how like everyone says with everything going on right now. I'm just going to say it. Because of COVID, because the vid got you. I watched Kevin Hart's new stand-up. It's called Give No Fucks or Zero Fucks Given or something like that. Something about some fucks and not giving a fuck or something like that. No fucks out. I don't know. I should look it up because I have a fucking nifty device right here in my hand called a phone that I can just look it up and give you guys actually the fucking right name of this comedy special that he had out, instead of just like talking whatever. Where is it at? I see. I hate how like when you go in between like and it's probably different for like an iPad, but for my iPhone, and then watching or like, you know, going through the Netflix on my Apple TV, it's different. I don't know. Why does the functions have to be different? Why can't it just be there? There it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Why does it have to be the way it is? And I don't understand why I can't find this. So there it is. Kevin Hart's Zero Fucks Given. I watched it the other day, and it was actually pretty fucking funny. Right at the beginning, I kind of had this feeling that that Kevin Hart was trying to like mimic what like Dave Chappelle was doing, because he was like, because Dave Chappelle did a comedy thing. And it was like at his home, like not at his home, but his hometown, like in this like, you know, outside arena, you know, and it was pretty successful. And he said some stuff about, you know, Black Lives Matter and the whole shit, whatever, shebang, whatever. Saying that, you know, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I had a feeling while watching at the beginning of this Zero Fucks Given comedy special that he had up. That is up now on Netflix. If you have Netflix, go watch it. And tell me if you feel the same way or not. Or maybe I'm just fucking, you know, saying things or like feeling something differently. But it just felt like he was trying to do something similar to what Dave Chappelle is doing. Because Dave Chappelle really doesn't give a shit like what you think or what you say, you know, and he doesn't want to be like this big like, he doesn't want to be a celebrity. I mean, he's famous, but he doesn't want to be a celebrity. And that's why he stick to the home that he lives in. And, you know, he carries himself a little differently. And, you know, I watched a little bit on Dave Chappelle on David Letterman's My Guest Doesn't Need an Introduction. And I learned a little bit more about Dave Chappelle, about how his father was a teacher, and just like, you know, kind of embedded like certain different like philosophies and things into his brain on like how he should be as a person and as a black man and as a man, how he should carry himself and how he should do certain things. And it's definitely done him wonders, because I mean, he's like, to me, he's probably the best comedian out there right now, because the guy does not give a shit, you know. He does not give a shit. He tells it out raw, and it's what comedy is supposed to be. Instead of like, oh my gosh, that's not funny. Don't say that. And everyone's so fucking like, you know, sensitive about certain topics and situations, when if we just take some time and just make fun of the situation, instead of, you know, fucking like, you know, being sensitive about it, it becomes funny. You know, tragedy is comedy. But where was I going with this whole damn thing? But I just really felt like Kevin Hart kind of was trying to mimic some things right at the beginning, and it probably didn't go so well, or I don't know if it was scripted that way or anything. But it was kind of like he was trying to mimic like what Dave Chappelle's been doing and how he does his comedy, instead of like talking about his kids, and that's what he ended up doing anyway. And he just talked about how like he's only comfortable in his own home and all this jizzy jazz and whatever, because of Corona and the vid, as he calls it. And yeah, I don't know. But then, you know, like halfway through is when it's like, all right, here's Kevin Hart. Here's the guy that I understand. And this is his comedy, the style of his comedy that I like. And it's just the animated person who talks about his family and his kids. And you know, if you like him or not, whatever. I don't give a shit, because I like all comedians, because I give comedians, like, you know, a lot of praise for what they do, because it's a one-man show. You got to go up there, you got to say what you have to say, and if you're not funny and you bomb in a room, you have to have the balls to fucking go do it again in front of another room. In some rooms you can read the room, and if you can't, then certain jokes will work with certain people, or like, you know, places and cities and towns, depending on their like political backgrounds and shit like that. Or if people are like privy to loving comedy the way I do, like just raw fucking comedy, instead of, you know, kind of like filtering your comedy and, you know, not even saying what you actually want to say. And if it's funny and you feel like you can't laugh, then it's censored and it's not comedy anymore. But anyway, I like Kevin Hart. I like Kevin Hart's comedy. And when he got into that wheelhouse, when he got back into that, all right, this is fucking Kevin Hart, and it was fucking hilarious. He had this one skit, this one bit about texting. He goes, man, when I was 20, man, I wouldn't advise you to, you know, go through my phone. But now, here, I'll give you I don't even put a password on it. Here, read all my messages. I don't give a shit. Because at 40 years old, we ain't got nothing to hide. We don't want to fucking do shit. We don't want to do anything, you know? And he kind of like reenacted a group chat that was happening between him and his buddies, and it sounded like something like me and my buddies would talk about. Like out of nowhere, someone would be like, hey man, you watching this show? And then all of a sudden somebody would come in and was like, hey, if I don't have butter, what else can I put into the pan if I don't have any butter? What the fuck? Hey man, I just found out I got gout. Like the conversation goes all over the place, and I feel like that's how some of my conversations with my friends go on our group chat. So like it'd be one thing, and then someone would post something else, and then it's just hilarious. And then it'll go dead for like 5 days, and somebody will say something, and then it'll be like a string roll of things, and then, you know, someone will come up with something different. It's just, they're fucking hilarious, and it hit home because it was just, you know, the guys that I, you know, are in this group chat with, you know, 3 of them are about my age. One is probably about maybe 3 years older than me. And then the other dude, well, you know, the guys from 3 Crafty Bastards. Just remember, you can listen to 3 Crafty Bastards anywhere you listen to your podcast. It's like 10 episodes that is up right now, or every Thursday you can find them on Facebook. Just look up 3 Crafty Bastards. You see how I just plugged that in there? So the guys from 3 Crafty Bastards are in my message, group message. Mr. Classic Marlon is like 40 something, 44, 45, I believe. Brandon just turned 42. I'm going to be 43, so we're around the same age, you know. And then we have a young guy, we have a young cat. I think he's like 20 something. maybe close to 30, 28, 27 or something like that. I don't know. I forget. But we have like, you know, pretty like, we're all like the same age, or one young guy. We're all young. Anyway, so the conversations are like, they're funny sometimes. Sometimes we just post stupid shit up there, but it hit home because, you know, it was kind of the conversations that we have. So that's what comedy is about. It's just like, you know, making fun of something that you do on an everyday basis just to make you fucking laugh. Anyway, so that is a really good Netflix comedy thing to watch on Netflix. But you know, I love how, like, I have like a few things written down, and I know as soon as I start to talk, it's like boom, I'm already in there and I'm talking, and I'm just like, I didn't write any of this down. It just comes out. It's like when I put these headphones on and get right in front of the mic, it just fucking spews out. But nonetheless, we're going to go right back to where we first started with Wonder Woman, and go watch Wonder Woman. Go get HBO Max, or just go to the theaters, whatever you want to do. Just watch it and let me know if you felt the same way on how I felt about the first part of Wonder Woman, the first act. It was kind of corny and cheesy and whatnot. Just let me know what you think. But I'm definitely going to be watching Soul as soon as I'm done with this podcast. I'm going to be watching it. But I did say that I was going to go be hanging out with Brandon and Corey tonight, so maybe I'm going to have to. We'll find out. Anyway, what else is going on? I have a beer review I was going to do today, and I haven't tasted this beer yet. But before we get into this beer review, get into the beer review, I just want to tell you a little bit about this beer club that I'm in, and I've talked about this several times. It's if you are in the Fort Wayne, Summit City area, and you have a local Belmont near you, you can join this beer club as well. It's $16 a month, but just recently I just went to go pick up my last month, and they said that they're going away from pay to pick up. So I either have to pay for the entire year, which is $192, or I can just do half. I can do half the year for like $90. It's like, what? I don't know. So maybe I'll do it that way, but I wonder if they just like give me an exception. Like, dude, I picked up my shit every day. Like every month I picked it up. It didn't go like 2 months. I picked my shit up every time. I went in there and I picked it up on the 8th when it was available. So yeah, let's do it. I picked it up every time because I got a podcast, and I just want to be able to review beers, because if it was up to me, like, I would get the same beers every time. I don't know what to get. So like if they're like baseball cards wrapped up in some like paper or whatever, because if I go to the store and if I go to the comic book store and you can just pick out the cards that you want, I'm going to buy Cubs, you know. I'm going to buy, you know, baseball cards of the Chicago Cubs. I'm not just going to buy just some random ones, or I'm not going to, you know, learn about other baseball players if I still, you know, collected baseball cards. You get what I'm saying. So if I go to the liquor store, there's a few different types of beers that I always get all the time. Now, I've said this time and time again that I am a huge porter and I'm a huge stout fan. So anything that falls into that umbrella, basically, the darker beers is what I really get into. I love them. They're so flavorful. They're good. They're fucking not good for me, not good for my stomach, because it gets all flabby. And the older I get, I have to, like, if I drink one, then fucking flubber comes out. But anyway, I like those beers. But then I also, when I just want a beer like right after work and stuff like that, just to, like, you know, decompress from the day, you know, I'll get a Yingling, or I'll get like a High Life or something like that, something a little lighter, where I can drink a couple of them and not have to worry about, like, because if you know about porters and stouts, depending on, like, you know, how they're brewed and whatever, because I don't want to get into many details, because, like, sometimes I forget the details and I want to say, no, it's this and it's that. Shut up. put your finger on your glasses there, nerd, and move forward. Yeah. Anyway, sometimes I forget because I know a lot of shit. I drink and I know things, but where I was going with it is like the ABV, the alcohol by volume, is a little higher when it comes to particularly milk stouts or stouts in general. Stouts ABV starts around like 3.5 and then go up from there up to about like 6%. Anything higher than that, it's just I've never had a stout higher. Yes, I have. I'm not going to say that it is that I haven't, because I've had like one that's like 13%, and I think that's Dragon's Milk. Dragon's Milk has one, and it's I think the Bourbon County Barrel is like 14%. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's up there. It's up there. It's up there in the ABVs. But anyway, the more you get up to in that ABV, you're probably more than likely dealing with like a rum barreled or something like brewed with rum or something like that, or like a whiskey or something of that sort. So the alcohol volume is going to jump up a lot. But typically when you get into like milk stouts and whatnot, they're anywhere between like 3.5 to like 6% alcohol. So I don't know where I was going with all that. So yeah, you can get drunk off like one or two of them, because anything in a 12 ounce, 16 ounces, a full pint. If you do anything above 5%, you are going to feel the effects of the alcohol much faster than if you would like just like a Pilsner that's like 3.5 or even like 4. Because anything above that is gonna affect you faster than whatever. So sorry about all the rambles, but I do have this. I'm all over the place because I didn't really write any notes down. But Belmont, $192 for the entire year. You get a 6-pack, you get some swag, you get some literature about like each one of the beers, which I should get out. So, but I mean, I'm just gonna give you my own review. I'm not gonna read it from the papers like what this beer is and how it should taste and whatever, blah blah blah. I'm just gonna give you what I fucking feel. So I have this beer. I'm not gonna say this beer fucking right. So I'm gonna spell it out to you. Narragansett. What the fuck? Narragansett Autocraft. When Autocraft was started in 1895, founder Frank O. Field was drawn to the word autocrat. Autocrat, not autocraft. Autocrat. One who rules with undisputed sway. It was then that their most delicious flagship product, Autocrat Coffee, got its name. Throughout the 1900s, Gransett and Autocrat were the beverages of choice in New England. We present here our collaborative coffee milk stout, a flavorful and smooth dark ale that pays homage to our shared heritage while celebrating the art of craft brewing. A shallow will tell you. What the fuck? Then it says, hi neighbor. Okay. People in fucking Rochester, New York, man, they're a little funny, and the can just looks like it's just like yellow, then red in the middle, like this like bird or chicken, whatever it is, and it says coffee milk stout. Kind of looks, it's pretty plain, And if like I said, like if I saw this on a counter at the liquor store, I wouldn't pick it up. I'd just be like, you know, because I mean the art does have to have some play to it. You know, like if they can, you know, have some good art, then maybe it would be a good beer. But sometimes if it has good art, then I'm like, nah, it's they probably didn't do a good beer, so they have some good art on it. So whatever, I don't know. We're about to drink this coffee milk stout right now. So it's flavored stout with coffee added. 5.5 ABV, 1 pint, 16 ounces. I just poured a little bit, and obviously we don't have any video here, but it is very, very dark in color, just like a stout should be. Very, very dark in color, especially being a coffee milk stout. And I love that it's a milk stout because it doesn't say, it doesn't have any ingredients or anything on it, but I'm wondering if it's brewed with lactose sugar or just regular sugar. I bet you anything that I can tell after I drink it, because lactose sugar kind of brings out more of the milky flavor, and it's kind of sits a little heavier. The regular sugars kind of still have like a stout feel to it with that, you know, straight stout taste. But since it's the milk, I'm hoping it's we're gonna get some lactose sugar. So we're gonna take a little pause here. I'm gonna take a little sniff of the brewski here, and we're gonna take a little taste test. All right. So I'm gonna step away from the microphone just a little bit, and here we go. Nice little hint of coffee. I can smell a lot of coffee in this. With that nice little, I can smell milk already. So I'm pretty sure that this is brewed with a lactose sugar. I'm gonna take a little sip. I'm gonna take a good couple gulps, see what it tastes like. Okay, here we go. That is definitely a good fucking milk stout. And I can't, and I'm sorry, I said I can definitely tell if it's lactose sugar or regular sugars. I'm going to say that we're probably leaning towards, yes, this was brewed with lactose sugar, just because I'm getting a nice, like, rich, like, creamy, like, milky, like, chocolate coffee. And it doesn't have like a really like overbearing coffee taste to it, but it does have all the fucking notes of stout in it, with like a little hint of some coffee. It's not like, I forget what beer it was, but it had like, it was a coffee stout, but it was like when you opened up like a fresh bag of coffee grounds, and you just smelt it, and it's like, oh, that smells so good. I love smelling coffee. I don't drink it enough, and I should kind of like suppress my hunger, but beer do. Let me take another couple other little swigs here. Yeah, that's good. That is definitely a good beer. And I'm going to lean towards lactose sugar, but I'm going to look it up here later on, see if there's like some more information on it. But let's go back and like just talk a little bit more about this Belmont thing, because I'm not sponsored by Belmont at all. And I know I ramble and I talked about Belmont a couple times, but you know, when I do go and re-up on my beer club, I'm like, hey, listen, I have a podcast. It's called Brews and Views. You know, I review beer and give it my own little spin on it, and I talk about TV shows and movies and whatnot. So I'm going to be here every month because I need to get this beer, so I know what to get, because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to get typically, because I would just sit in the beer aisle and just sit there and stare for hours and end up taking home Modelo's or some High Lifes, or just, you know, the Nitro Milk Stout, which was so fucking good last night. I forgot how fucking good that Nitro Milk Stout is, but it's so fucking good. So fucking good. So if you're in the Fort Wayne area, or anywhere that has a Belmont, I'm pretty sure they all do this beer club. And it is $192 for the entire year, and they are getting away from doing the pay at pickup, which was $16 a month. But I'm not going to do the math. No, you know what? Let's do the math. You have this nifty little freaking device here that 16 times 12 equals 192. So that's $16 a month. So I mean, I just want, can they check and see? Like, I came every month and got my shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I came every month and I picked it up. Anyway, go to Belmont. Get you a beer club. If you're just now getting into beers and you want to try to find your wheelhouse of beer, get into that. Or if you just love drinking all different types of beer like me, I'm pointing at myself right now, and you like drinking different types of beer and you want to like venture off and like try to find out different beers and different breweries around the nation, then definitely do the beer club at your local Belmont if you're in the Fort Wayne, Summit City area. What's next? Man, I didn't have this written down, but since we talked about HBO Max and Wonder Woman being on HBO Max, it's on either HBO Max or either in the theaters. And they also just stated, well, Warner Media just released that all of their DC movies are going to be coming out on both platforms. It's going to be coming out on HBO Max and also in the theaters. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, because it's going to take the experience. Like, we've talked about this many, many times, and we're just going to beat a dead horse. That I really do believe it's just going to like kill the theater industry, because people are really not going anymore. You got people downloading movies, you got people ripping them, you got all these BitTorrents out there, and the art is slowly trying to find its way. Like a new like venue or a new like way of giving us movies, especially like the whole streaming wars, man. Like, everyone has a streaming service nowadays, and if you do have one, you better fucking have some good shit on there for people to come and watch. Because if you're not these heavy hitters like Netflix will always have something on their streaming service. Disney Plus, which it is kind of weak. And I think a bulk of their subscribers come only for The Mandalorian. And as soon as The Mandalorian is done, they probably just cancel their subscription and just wait till next year and re-up again. But not me. I like Disney stuff, so I watch it all. I like to watch new stuff, so I always keep my Disney Plus, because there's always something on there to watch. There's some really good stuff on there, and also. So if you're not a heavy hitter like Disney Plus with The Mandalorian, that's bringing a lot of people, a lot of subscribers, which I think they have around like 13 million subscribers like worldwide, which is pretty high. And I forget where the number was, but that's when it first started back in last November. But the number may be higher. I don't know. I'm not going to check it out, because I'm going to be rambling about some other shit here in a few. But basically, what I'm saying is that the theater industry is dying. And all these people that are actually producing the movies, they want to make money. But with this whole situation with COVID and all the restrictions of masks and how many people can be in a theater, and it's just it's not lucrative for them, and it possibly might take a little longer to actually put a movie together because of the restrictions on how people need to be so far away. You have to wear a mask in between scenes. You got to get tested every day. Take your temperature, make sure you're not doing it. Keep yourself quarantined when you're around a lot of people. Blah blah blah. So it takes a long time to actually get a movie across nowadays. So putting it on your streaming platform was a genius idea by HBO or Warner Media to put Wonder Woman 1984 on their platform, because basically what that did, and trick to this is, and we talked about this before as well, about maybe 45 days ago, they got rid of the 30-day, like you can have it for 30 days for free, and then after the 30 days you got to pay however much the subscription costs, so they got rid of it over like a little less than 30 days ago, or 30 days. Anyway, it's so people just don't get it for the free period. So you actually have to pay the $14.99 for HBO Max. So then, basically all their new subscribers that came on, they're paying $14.99 for it, which is a pretty fucking like, that was a decent way of doing it, instead of how like Disney Plus did with Mulan, and it was like an extra $30 to pay for it, which I understand why they did that, because if you think about it, $30 is still cheap, because if you take you, your wife, little Billy, and little Angie with you, you're spending more than $40 there anyway, with ticket sales and popcorn and whatever you're gonna buy, drinks or whatever, you're spending more than $40 for a family of four. So if you do spend $30 plus however much it costs for whatever tier of Disney Plus you have, it kind of washes out a little bit, so I get it, but this got people to actually pay $14.99 a month. So it's basically new subscribers from then on were going to get, they're basically paying $14.99 to see Wonder Woman. And they got me because I got it. But there also are some really good shows on HBO Max. The Undoing, and there's another one, a buddy of mine at work. I wouldn't say he was my buddy, but he's like a co-worker, and he was talking about Euphoria, and then there's another one that is pretty good. I forget what the name is, and it's in my wallet, and I'm not going to go get it because then I have to move this microphone. It's going to make a bunch of noise, and I want to do all that shit. But anyway, HBO Max did a really good freaking job that way. That was genius, and to have it on and to release on Christmas when the most people are going to be at home, especially with the COVID situation, where you're probably going to be with your immediate family and not gathering with like a bunch of people, cousins and uncles and third removed and all this jazz. You're probably just going to be in your own home with your like immediate family, and then if someone got HBO Max $14.99. There it is. Someone bought it. But anyway, I do see that if this continues to be a trend, that it's another stake. It's another fucking dagger in the heart of AMC theaters and any theater around the world. That it's a dying trend. Like theaters are going to go out. And there was this hypothetical thing that Jeff Bezos was going to purchase all of AMC and get them out of debt, and then just turn turn them into hubs, and like Amazon hubs where you can just purchase things and have some of the rooms actually be theaters, and do it that way. But that was debunked, and that's not going to happen. But AMC is not doing so well right now. They're losing so much money for having to go back under these new quarantine rules, not quarantine, but like these new regulations of like not having so many people in a theater, because like we said before, that 40% of people that are not going to be able to purchase a ticket because of the capacity, and it's not doing them good at all. And I think in the next couple of years, there's not going to be any theaters anymore, and we're going to be telling like my nephew now, which is 10 years old, he's going to tell in 10 years there's probably not going to be any theaters at all. There might be a theater here and there, like for nostalgic purposes, that will show like Star Wars or something, once in a great moon or whatever, like the 100th or the 50th anniversary of Star Wars Return of the Jedi or something, in theaters only, that would be fucking cool. Just like I just saw the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back in theaters, and it was fucking amazing to watch it in the theaters. Like, I didn't get a chance because I was still young, but I did see it on VHS. But anyway, I just don't want the theater, whole vibe to go away. Hopefully somebody will come up with something. I'm not smart enough to come up with something, but hopefully there's somebody that comes up with like a subscription plan of some sort, like what AMC did with their AMC Stubs membership and AMC A-List and all that jazz, to get people to come into the doors to actually buy concessions. It's really trying to, like, you're giving the movie away for free, but they make more money in the at the concessions than they do. It's like a amusement park kind of prices. You really don't get any money off the ticket sales. You get them more on the concessions. But like I said, time and time again, I just don't want theaters to go away. The experience is going to be forever. I hope it doesn't, but it just seems that is going to end up happening. So rest in peace. Theaters is going to happen. And my nephew's going to be like, yeah, I remember one day I watched all 3, 7, 8, 9 of Star Wars with my uncle, and there's no theaters anymore. We watch it in our own home. Anyway, I kind of want to get on a subject here a little bit about relationships. Relationships with friends, relationships with, maybe a possible lover, or, possibly getting into a new relationship, like an intimate relationship, or, relationships with family. And, I'm not saying that I know everything or whatever. I'm not an educated person in any of these things at all. Like, I did go to college for a little bit, but, I'm not educated at all. I do read a lot, and I do read up some things, and I have my own opinion because I am an individual. And I think I do make some, great points in some things, and sometimes I don't make some good points in some other things, and sometimes I do make an ass of myself, or I get angry for some things, and that's because I'm human, and I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm not scared to go out there and make more mistakes, because that's what just makes you stronger and what makes you better as a person. Because if you are afraid to fail, then you're never going to understand what your potential is and what you could actually fucking do. But anyway, other people might think different. But all I'm saying is that the people that you have in your family are who you have in your family. And regardless of what they might say or do, and yes, I'm trying to make this sound better for me because I did do something to a family member that has them not talking to me anymore, or have me involved in anything, or call me on my birthday, or any of that. And I'm just kind of tired of it. I'm just kind of tired of everything has to be done this person's way. And if you don't like it, fuck you, basically. This is the way I'm going to do it. This is the way it's going to be. Controlling and all the shit, and I just don't like it. No one else gets a fucking say in anything, and we just have to sit here and nod and say yes. And I'm kind of done with it. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't like how things are said between other family members, and so I call them out on their bullshit. I get called out on my bullshit too. I understand. I learn from it, and I move forward. But in a sense, you can't let even family take your worth away from you. If you know what you're worth, and you know that your worth is solid, and you are worth something, that you have something to contribute to a family, or contribute to friends, or contribute to society, or contribute to a business, your work, or whatever, that you can contribute. But I'm sitting here, I'm an unused tool, and it's it's a honeydew list for me. Kind of, sort of. But anyway, so we have to understand each other, and we have to understand how to how other people feel and how they do things, because you may have a person who, you know, you're a parent and you have a kid, so now you think totally different. Okay. But if I'm not, or another person that you're saying like, why does he do that still? Why does he do that? Well, he made a choice, or she made a choice to not have kids, and she can still go around and fucking do whatever she wants or whatever he wants and have fucking fun, because he or she has nothing tying him down that he needs or she needs to make sure that someone else, a smaller being, is, you know, their responsibility. And maybe, like, people say this before, natural selection. Shut the fuck up. And those same people who say that shit, like, it's natural selection. The reason why you're not going to have a kid or ever will have a kid is because of this and that. Tell you the truth, I probably do have a kid out there, and those people are just like, yeah, let Juan be Juan, and we'll just take care of this baby ourselves. Anyway, you can't force people to be, you can't force people to fit in your box. You can't force people to live by how you live or what you believe in, or you can't do that. You can't. Or you just become a judgmental motherfucker. You just will, you know? And I'll say this, and I'll say, you know, I've said it many times, that I personally think that religious people are the ones that are the most judgy, you know? And the ones that aren't are a little bit more liberal. They're liberating, they're outspoken, they're creative, they're artistic, they're all these things. And I'm not saying that everything that I've done, or if the people out there listening, that I'm not trying to justify the things that has happened, but I don't wish them not to have been done, or I don't wish that, you know, because whatever action you have done, whatever thing you have said, needed to happen, because that's what your path has gone down. That's where you need to go. That's where you need to end up. And whatever you decide to not to do, then, you know, I don't know. I'm being really cryptic here, because I don't want to like say too much about it, because it does like hit home with me, because of a certain person in my family. We had a falling out, kind of, and do I feel bad about the situation? Yeah, I do. But at the same time, if that other person doesn't want to see my end of it, it's like I never existed anyway. Like, I never was someone that they could. It was like I was just a person that was around to just do things for them. And I was just kind of fucking done with it, you know? Like, I was always like made fun of. I was always like, all this shit, you know, whatever. You can say I'm sensitive or whatever, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, I'm done. I'm just like kind of done with it, you know? And that person probably says, you know, I'm kind of done with it too. I don't need your drama. But to me, I think you're the drama. I don't know. So we just have to understand each other. And I wanted to talk about this because I have a friend that I got to know just recently at the place I work at now here at Sweetwater in Fort Wayne. And I got to know him, and he's having some issues with his baby mom, and his baby's mom, and it's like his babies, like plural too, one boy and one girl, and they're just having a rough time. And like I said, I don't have, like I said to him, like I don't have kids of my own, but I do know, and I've seen like a really, really good friend of mine go through something similar, and co-parenting. And it's like, he didn't want to give this woman the benefit of the doubt of like doing everything, because he was mad and pissed off that they're not married anymore and they got divorced, and he doesn't want to do that, and why, and blah blah blah. And but you know what, it really pushed him forward to be a better individual for himself. And, you know, I mean, he's still kind of like, whatever, like, again, like, I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything. I know there's a lot of things that I need to work on with myself. But what I saw was him going from being angry and sad to being a kind of successful, like, businessman. Like, he ain't making millions. I mean, but he's got this business, and it's off the feet. And it's been going on for 4 years now, and sells things, makes extra money that way, and it does a really good job. And I think if it wasn't for the divorce, like, none of that would have happened. And then him understanding that, you know, that's my child, and, you know, the bulk of the time that my child spends is with his mother. So mother needs to be happy, and mother needs to be happy. So I'm going to instill that in it. And before I was just like, man, fuck that, you know, because that was my mentality back then. No, fuck that, blah, 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 blah. And then when he broke it down to me, I was just like, man, that's a very adult way of, like, of thinking about things, you know? Because if you look at his son now, growing up, grown up now, this kid is like, he's laid back, he's artistic, he's full of fun, he's kind of a little closed a little bit, you know, maybe because was the only child growing up, kind of kept to himself a little bit. But, you know, the kid turned out all right. He's smart, he does well in school, and he has a very, very diverse, you know, childhood growing up, you know, living with mother and father and being young and growing up, and you know, the kid's in high school now. And I just like, man, I remember when he was fucking a little kid. But this is what I'm trying to instill into my friend. Like, yeah, I understand you don't want to see her, you don't want to do anything with her, anything about her, but that's still the mother of your children. Okay. They're going to spend the bulk of that time with her. So if mama ain't happy, kids ain't happy. And these kids are going to turn out with some like mental issues. I'm not going to say they're going to be fucking crazy where they need to take medication and go see a psychiatrist, but they might have some like trigger things or certain things that happen that mom and dad are always fighting. And if that's their norm, they think that's what love is. So then they end up becoming destructive in their love patterns. And then when they go out to love people or what they think a relationship is, it's just fighting and hating and all that. And it's not actual love. You know, it isn't love at all. It's the fighting and name calling and all this jazz. And I'm starting to learn that more and more. And like, you know, like I said, and I said this to him, and I'm like, bruh, if that was me, I would most definitely do whatever I can to make her happy. And then when she doesn't or goes off the wall, treat her just like an adult and be like, hey, that's not cool. This is how I feel about that. I'm not trying to be sensitive in this situation, but I'm just letting you know how I feel. This is not cool. You get to do this, and you have the kids all the time, but then now you don't want me to see the kids because I'm not giving you any money, which, you know, I can't afford it right now, and we're getting divorced. But now you want to try to get, you know, there's so many elements to this story that I think it's not just his story. It's not just him, my buddy at work. It's not just him. There's more men out there. There's multiple men that are probably going through the same fucking scenario. And that's how these kids grow up to have these like social anxieties or these like social not like norms, because they don't know how to communicate, because they don't have like a found like a strong found, you know, family relationship. And it's always about yelling and this and that and not understanding and not like reading your mind. Like, if you don't say what's on your mind, then I don't know. So that's what I've been trying to like tell him, like, man, I probably, filled your head with a lot of like, don't, do this, do that, man, fuck that bitch and this and that, whatever. But at the same time, man, like I'm just here to try to like cheer you up, man. So whatever you got to hear, like that's how I would be, like if all I want to hear is, man, fuck that bitch, man, and that would gas me up. Maybe, it would gas me up to make me feel like, man, this person's on my side, this person's got my back, and I do. I got this dude's back, I just wish people would do the same thing for me. It's like I'm always out there giving myself to other people, but no one, I'm not going to say no one ever does anything for me. Like there's subtle things and there's things that are bigger than me and bigger who I am, bigger than I can actually do right now at the moment that yes, people do good things for me. But sometimes the small things help too, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, it's like, I don't know, man. It takes two people. It takes two to tango, man. Like the phone works both ways, like my phone works, your phone works. You can give me a call. I can give you a call. But if I'm the only one making the phone calls all the time, and then I stop making those phone calls, don't feel bad that I'm not talking to you. Like you can call me too. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes both ways. And, I don't know, maybe I don't get it. Maybe it's taken me a long time to, get to this point and, whatever, I've probably burned a lot of bridges. Not probably, I have. And, it's taken me a while to get to where I'm at now. And, am I happy with my past? No, but I know the future can be better and I know it has been. And, what I've been through in the past 2 years, I know it's been a lot better. But that's here nor there. I just wish people, I just really wish people would just like take the time to like, get out of their comfort zone and actually have conversations with each other. And then when a person, tries to have a conversation with you and then you're closed and you don't open up, then when you try to do it and I don't do anything, then you get upset for me not saying anything back to you. How does that make, now you know how I felt. You know what I'm saying? Like, naturally as human beings, we just want to like, we just want to like, get a taste of your own medicine kind of deal. Like I do that a lot too. But then, if they come around, they come around. If they don't, they don't, like whatever. I'm going to keep moving. Like, I'm just going to keep moving. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I really don't. I don't. So, in your relationships with your friends, your lovers, your families, take the time to understand what that other person is going through. Take the time to understand that their lifestyle may not be the same as yours. If they're a single 42-year-old woman or male, then their lifestyle is probably going to be different from a 42-year-old single mother or single father. Going to be totally, completely different. I mean, they can both like the same things and have the same, things that in common and whatnot. But their lifestyles are going to be totally fucking different. You got, make the kid food. Like the kid doesn't know how to fucking, use a That's how these kids grow up to have these like social anxieties or these like social not like norms because they don't know how to communicate, because they don't have like a found like a strong found family relationship, and it's always about yelling and this and that and not understanding and not like reading your mind. Like if you don't say what's on your mind, then I don't know. So that's what I've been trying to like tell him, like, man, I probably, filled your head with a lot of like, don't, do this, do that, man, fuck that bitch and this and that, whatever. But at the same time, man, like I'm just here to try to like cheer you up, man. So whatever you got to hear, like that's how I would be, like if all I want to hear is, man, fuck that bitch, man, and that would gas me up. Maybe, it would gas me up to make me feel like, man, this person's on my side, this person's got my back, and I do. I got this dude's back, I just wish people would do the same thing for me. It's like I'm always out there giving myself to other people, but no one, I'm not going to say no one ever does anything for me. Like there's subtle things and there's things that are bigger than me and bigger who I am, bigger than I can actually do right now at the moment that yes, people do good things for me. But sometimes the small things help too, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, it's like, I don't know, man. It takes two people. It takes two to tango, man. Like the phone works both ways, like my phone works, your phone works. You can give me a call. I can give you a call. But if I'm the only one making the phone calls all the time, and then I stop making those phone calls, if I'm the only one making the phone calls all the time, and then I stop making those phone calls, don't feel bad that I'm not talking to you. Like, you can call me too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it goes both ways. And, I don't know. Maybe, I don't get it. Maybe it's taken me a long time to, get to this point. And, whatever, I've probably burned a lot of bridges. Not probably, I have. And, it's taken me a while to get to where I'm at now. And, am I happy with my past? No. But I know the future can be better. And I know it has been. And, what I've been through in the past 2 years, I know it's been a lot better. But that's here nor there. I just wish people, I just really wish people would just like take the time to like, get out of their comfort zone and actually have conversations with each other. And then when a person, tries to have a conversation with you and then you're closed and you don't open up, then when you try to do it and I don't do anything, then you get upset for me not saying anything back to you. How does that make, now you know how I felt. You know what I'm saying? Like, naturally as human beings, we just want to like, we just want to like, get a taste of your own medicine kind of deal. Like I do that a lot too. But then, if they come around, they come around. If they don't, they don't, like whatever. I'm going to keep moving. Like, I'm just going to keep moving. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I really don't. I don't. So in your relationships with your friends, your lovers, your families, take the time to understand what that other person is going through. Take the time to understand that their lifestyle may not be the same as yours. If they're a single 42-year-old woman or male, then their lifestyle is probably going to be different from a 42-year-old single mother or single father. Going to be totally, completely different. I mean, they can both like the same things and have the same, things that in common and whatnot. But their lifestyles are going to be totally fucking different. You got, make the kid food. Like the kid doesn't know how to fucking, use the stove and microwave. And then once they get old enough to do that and teach themselves how to make stuff for themselves, then they can be more independent and start doing things, whatever. And that's when life starts to really happen and whatnot, And then and then, I'm pretty sure that, mothers and fathers have the anxiety of like, is my child going to get hurt, or are they going to burn themselves on the stove, or like, and coddle them to shit and put them in this fucking little bubble where they don't become like social at all, or put them in anything. And that it just all goes to like, I don't know. Anyway, put your kids in shit, put your kids in shit, man. And make them fucking talk to each other. But yeah, I mean, it's taken me a while to get back to where I wanted to be and where I am now. Like I'm fully, completely like, this is who I am. This is how I'm going to be. And if you don't like it, fuck you. I don't fucking care anymore. I don't. I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to do it the right way and the best way I know how possible. And if I fail at it, I'm going to brush my shoulders off and I'm going to keep moving. And I'm going to be like, I'm not going to do that again. There's some things that I keep doing over and over again and fucking fail to understand that I can't do it again. But, you know, that's here nor there. One day I'll fucking understand that I can't do that shit as much as I used to. But, I mean, I don't know. Life, man, it gets you. It hits you. It hits you hard, man, when you don't want to, and it does those things to you. But I think, you know, that's all the time that I have here on Brews and Views. I just wanted to leave you guys with just a little plug. Make sure you go and listen to Three Crafty Bastards on anywhere you listen to podcasts, or you can catch them on Thursdays on Facebook. Just look up Three Crafty Bastards. Also, you can listen to the Pull Up and Pour Up podcast with Leo Mills and his really good friend, just talking about random stuff all day long while they drink a little bit of drink and just talk things they like to talk about. I've listened to a few episodes. I'll be honest, I haven't listened to them all. I listened to a few episodes here and there, and they're very, very, very freaking interesting. So give those gentlemen a listen. And also just want to give out a huge shout out to Parker that puts his podcast up on Unique Beats. If it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be able to hear this podcast. All right, folks, y'all have a good evening. Peace. Thanks for tuning in and listening to me ramble at lengths about things I have no business talking about. Download Brews and Views to your favorite devices at Apple Podcast and Spotify. This is Juan Cordero, the one and only, saying cheers. Until next time.